Fortnite Battle Royale has been out for 8 years now, and we have seen some of the most incredible moments in esports history.
We have never seen anything like this before. Your world champion,
But some of these incredible players grew tired and quit the game.
I just did this because I
О, тюфето, брат, трябва да го гледам и нещо за него.
because of the money and that's just not who I am, so I'm just gonna go live my life.
Today I want to talk about one of the best players and content creators in Fortnite and gaming history, and how he might be making a return to the
Запъля пратите революта ми. Добре бе, брат, после ще ги пратим, виждате това реагираме.
This is the entire story of Mongraal.
Я да видим цялата му история.
Jackson was born on August 13th of 2004 in Kent.
Той е мой набор,
He was
бе.
introduced to PC gaming at an early age. He started by playing competitive games like
Той е
Call of
милионер,
Duty, Halo, and eventually moved into H1Z1, which is a battle royale similar to Fortnite. Mongraal would start his Twitch account on September 1st of 2016, mostly just to watch as a spectator. But just a year later on August 19th of 2007, Kyle would decide to join the fun and start up his very own stream. But as many of you guys know, Fortnite hadn't come out yet. Mongraal's first stream ever was actually the game Counter-Strike. He would also go on to stream games like Battlefield, H1Z1, and Black Ops 2. However, just a month later, on September 26th of 2017, a game that would change Mongraal's life forever would come out, and it was called
Fortnite. Newest video game craze fast among kids, college kids, even celebrities.
Аз го помня този момент, брат. Децеки играеше, брат.
Everyone was playing this game. Well, everyone except for Mongraal. Funny enough, he didn't actually stream Fortnite until a few months later on January 14th of 2018. And from that point on, he basically streamed Fortnite almost every single day of that year.
Oh my god, so good! Oh, what? Controller player! That is a controller player! I knew it!
Майка, аз тук много го гледах, брат.
Да, той тогава беше...
I'm so good at this game. Thanos in the own. Sing,
Шинг, 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 шинг!
sing, sing! What a minute!
Да.
Go
Брат, той има толкова много пари, пак тогава беше с толкова лошо качество на стримове, на камера и на всичко, брат.
Hey, GG spread. I really like having a balanced fight. GG.
In addition to the
Но той беше с
streams on
Nvidia
April 10th
спонсор,
of
нали?
2018, Mongraal
Michael.
began his YouTube
Michael.
journey by posting his first ever Fortnite video, How to Push High Ground. Mongraal quickly became known for
Аз
being
тук
one
гледах,
of the
брат.
best builders in early Fortnite. And back in 2018, people could barely build a ramp in front of them, let alone crank 90s like they're on Adderall.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the.
Ninja вижу кафе скенер, брат.
No.
However, Mongraal was one of the very few people that was ahead of the curve. He had an insanely aggressive building style and quickly became one of the
той
best
беше от
players
Face.
in the world because of it. And
Да.
due to his advanced skills,
После беше
organizations
Secret.
in the gaming scene started to take notice.
Secret, да.
Very early 2018, many esports teams were
Secret
trying to
Mongraal.
establish their Fortnite rosters.
Не, то май преди
Of
Хейс
2018,
беше Secret.
Team Secret would announce their all-new
Да, да,
Fortnite roster,
да.
including the very young Mongraal at just 13 years old.
Да.
And remember, this was 7 years ago. Today, young kids get signed to esports teams all the time, but back then this
Ко?
was far
На 8 години ли беше този, бе?
because most competitive games you had to
Да.
be 18 or at least 16 years old to play, but Fortnite was the first game to allow younger players
То сега
like
колко беше
Mongraal
минимума? 13 ли?
13, ето го, да, да, ето
how
го.
big of a deal this
Yeah,
actually
nice,
was. The BBC News Network actually covered Kyle signing with Team Secret in a 2-minute news story.
For many of us, Fortnite is the length of time you spend on your holidays every summer.
Той тук стана много
For millions
известен.
of young people, it's
Да.
the hottest
Те
video
тук го
game
направиха
on the
BBC-то,
planet right now.
те са
And for
най-гледаната
this
телевизия той до ден
13-year-old,
днешен.
it's potentially a lucrative future career. Kyle Jackson is so good at Fortnite that he's been signed to play with a team of professional gamers.
This situation was obviously incredible, but it left us with just one problem. I don't know if you
Michael,
guys
тук как го
remember,
уби?
but back in 2018,
Как не е умрял от
the
Боги.
competitive age
Да, и аз
was
това се
still
чуя.
16 years old. So even though Mongraal was signed to Team Secret, he could only do content for them. he wasn't even allowed to compete in official Fortnite tournaments yet. However, there was one tournament that he was able to compete in because it wasn't an official Fortnite tournament, and it was called Friday Fortnite. Friday Fortnite was organized by none other than Keemstar and UMG Gaming. For those of you that don't know what this tournament was,
Майко,
basically
даже
every week,
Декон ли
creators,
там, Дакон ли
celebrities,
каза,
and
що
pro
и го
players
играеше
would
вярно.
compete for a big cash prize on
Decon, да.
stream. People like Ninja, Cypher PK, and Tfue were just some of many people invited. And like I said, because this wasn't an official Fortnite tournament, anybody of any age was able to participate. They just needed to have a big enough audience to draw a crowd. And this meant that the very popular and young Mongraal would be a perfect fit for the tournament. He joined during the Week 5 session and was a consistent player for the rest of the 2018 season. In fact, him and his duo Dementos even got first place during Week 6. So despite being only third,
То само топ 3 са
he
вземане.
was able to keep up with all the biggest names and
Да,
pro
сплитват
players.
Брат,
това си го
at the
спомням,
time.
ама не си
However,
спомням
not
как
too
беше,
long
брат.
after these tournaments would take place, Epic Games would officially lower
как
the
да е?
age requirement from 16 to 13 years old.
Брат, виж преди 27 точки, брат.
Would be
Да.
able to start playing in official
Да,
Fortnite
колко
tournaments.
5
Right off
сигурно.
the bat, he would take home
Lux Cup.
$3,000
Кой ти е, брат?
in the Lux Cup and an additional $1,500 during the World Cup warm-up.
Майко.
If you're winning big tournaments,
Мале, ако сега пуснат един френзи къп да преди.
The Cash
Я
App
махни
to
го
your
ти,
Cash
да.
App balance, and you can spend.
Че без той нямаме кеш.
Of all of this is there's no
Изхарчихме го.
random monthly charge.
Аре, брат,
And
сега
let's
да
get back to it. Not surprisingly to anybody, Mongraal and his duo partner Mitro qualified
Mitro,
for the
брат.
World Cup by placing second in week 2 of the duo qualifiers.
Аз тук
And
много ги
then
гледах, защото нали
Mongraal
аз го
also
играх.
qualified for the World Cup solos by
Аз от
placing
тях
sixth
гледах,
in
брат,
week
как да
6.
играе.
This made Mongraal one of the very few players who was able to qualify as a solo and a duo, which makes him one of the best players in the world at the time at just 14 years old.
Да,
However, right
майко на
before the World
14.
Cup would
А той
start,
тогава аз съм бил
Mongraal
на
would
толкова
actually
зле.
decide to switch gaming
Да,
organizations.
вие нали сте
Because
един
on
набор.
July 7th,
Да.
he announced he would be dropping Team Secret, so the next day he could
FaZe.
announce he would be joining FaZe Clan.
What's up, boys? Obviously, I'm happy to announce I've joined FaZe Clan, which is a dream come true. I can't believe I'm now sitting in FaZe. Like a year ago, I just joined Secret, and I've left them on good terms, like no bad blood or anything. But it's just crazy that I've went from, you know, like the BBC interview, and now I'm at FaZe. Like, it's crazy to think about, but I just want to say thank
Victor,
you to
братле,
everyone
пробвай
for all the
пак.
support I've got over the past year.
With the newfound support of FaZe, Mongraal was headed straight to the Fortnite World Cup and ready to take on the Fortnite world.
Light, Mongraal, MQ, Teak, Blacks, and Skype.
Атаба.
You know on this list who I want to talk about right now, right?
Yes, I do.
Let's hear it.
Mongraal.
What do you got for Mr. Mongraal
Виктория, брат, това си го
himself?
направо като хората. Няма как да не
What more?
работят,
I
това
mean,
ти го
there's
обясня.
literally so much. I could talk about this guy forever. One of the most mechanically skilled players I have ever seen. So fast.
Той
with
наистина
his
беше един от
decisions.
най-добрите
You really can't
механици.
keep up. Sometimes I even have to watch him in slow motion because it's just so ridiculously fast.
And you can see his reactions on the camera, how much he cares, how much he is invested, how much he wants to be the best of the best.
And he did incredibly well, taking out some of the best pro players
Просто
of
вече са
that
на
time
глобалите.
left and right.
Mongraal with 4 eliminations.
Да, да.
And look at
На глобал сайт.
And that was on Nate. We're now down to the final moments. Top 5 monster. He had to fully commit there. Those are the maps that he
Виктор е окей. Както си казва. Хейти ме и тя аз ти казвам, че не е също. Някакво ти казвам повече, брат.
Elimination on Takamura. Mongraal in the ultimate low ground. Going up against the player. It's gonna be Boga. The game will
Аз съм още момъче.
be enough
Окей,
against
Алекс.
Mongraal, who does hit
Хайде.
quite a bit. He loses a lot.
Да е.
No more build.
But as you guys all know, he didn't take home first place. He ended up placing 6th in the duo finals and
Знаеш как ги
13th
яд?
in the solo
Обаче
finals.
450
With
хиляди
these
долара,
incredible
братле, и
placements,
150
he took
кайзел.
home $375,000. This is an
Страшно го
insane
добре.
amount of money for anybody, but remember, Mongraal
Той
did
толкова
this
един
all
стрим,
at
да.
just 14 years old. At the end of the World Cup, Epic Games would announce that they were ready for the next stage of competitive Fortnite, which was the FNCS, or Fortnite Championship Series. And Mongraal's domination of Fortnite wouldn't just stop at the World Cup, it continued into the FNCS tournaments as well. With Trios being the first game mode for FNCS, Mongraal and his duo Mitro would pick up one of the other all-time greats, Benji Fishy.
Oh,
Leading up to
вярно.
the first FNCS, this trio was insane. They placed first place in multiple qualifying rounds, but unfortunately that winning streak didn't stick around in the grand finals. In fact, they would place a disappointing 10th out of 33 teams.
Между другото, Митро никога не е бил толкова добър. Пича просто правиш префари винаги.
Не бе, беше добър.
Брат, той нито механик имаш, само на префари играеш. Нищо особено не беше.
Айде. Тези гадните роботи, брат.
Да.
Oh my god, this game is so bad,
Ти фи още
bro.
като играеш, брат.
I'm about to just uninstall.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa! What?
Hey, let's go, guys. I'm hyped. Yeah!
Comment down below if you guys think that this was the worst season ever,
To
because
binge
I
сега
definitely
Valorant
think it
Pro player.
was. Anyways,
Теле,
everybody just kind of assumed that
Давай.
Давай.
would be standard
Подавам
this format for a while.
малко 2-3 години.
Защото аз не съм чул, верно.
Спечели World Cup на Valorant.
Теле, бе.
Така ли, бе?
Сега наскоро с отбора, да.
Там трудно ли? В смисъл, има ли много просто?
Да.
Била си го пича, брат. На Fortnite беше втори на един FNCS, на Valorant първи.
Mongraal and squad would finish just about as good as you can without winning, getting second place in all of EU.
Второ място ли, бе? Май, тук са 4-ма ли, бе?
Да, бе, склад.
Да, преди имаш склад, знаеш, много яко беше.
И като си склад е друго между другото.
Брат, то всеки спами, той е голям меле.
То това е интересното.
Да, точно.
So triggered how easy it is. It's too easy. We
То
need
си,
a
брат.
challenge.
Той като беше лут с Mongraal, брат. Той беше едно време. Сега е най-спокойният човек.
И да, той вече не му пука, той се е оправил живота. Какво се напряга?
And was he carried by his squad, or was he really one of the best players in the world? Well, luckily for Mongraal, he would have an opportunity to prove that that solo World Cup placement wasn't a fluke, as Chapter 2 Season 3 would be a solo FNCS. Mongraal didn't place exactly how he wanted to, but by getting 16th on the region, he did still prove that he was one of the best players on EU. However, one thing that Mongraal didn't have yet under his belt was an FNCS Grand Finals win. But that would all change during Chapter 2 Season 4. This was back to trios, and Mongraal would team up with his old buddy Mitro and a new EU legend,
Аз тогава почнах да играя.
absolutely deadly. They would finish
Аз тогава
first
бях
place
квитнал.
in the Season 4 Grand Final.
И много ме яд, че не можах да го енджойна. Тогава бях пак слава, защото тогава съм почнал.
Човек, сезонът беше инсейн.
Аз може едно време, 2 години не бях играл в Fortnite.
Ей, то Райпал е много добър. Беше много добър.
Браво.
Да, да.
You'd think that a win like this would be a sign
То
to keep
тогава ли има
going,
коли, бе?
to keep pursuing professional Fortnite and being at the top of the
От
game.
Chapter 2 сезон 3.
But instead, Mongraal completely disappeared. Well, okay, I guess I'm being a little dramatic. He didn't completely disappear, but he didn't compete in much of the tournaments that Epic Games had going on. He would only participate in a couple of tournaments here and there, and he would only stream on Twitch or upload on YouTube from time to time, but certainly not at the pace that he once had. It was clear that even after reaching the height of his skill, Mongraal was getting tired of playing the game or experiencing some kind of burnout. People assumed that this meant the end of Mongraal forever. And
той беше quitнал по едно време да играе други игри, бе.
people did not forget about it. The
Да, Valorant май цъкаше или
so much that they were consistently begging him to come back to
Беше
the
quitнал,
game
наистина.
that he once loved. However, in early 2024, after all the begging and pleading, Mongraal had seemingly come back. He's competed in every single FNCS in 2024 and this year in 2025 with his boy Mr. Savage.
Това ще играем, брат. 4 часа играем 4.
То пенза.
Get in the box, Mongraal. Get in the box.
Останат пак с Savage, аз не съм го...
Още играва?
Севиджа предложи на Кликс да са дулта на Кликс каза, че ако Севидж грайндва може.
Then he chopped me out, and then he dropped the thing he chopped me out with.
Ама трябва да се виж да ходи в Далас.
Bro, I can't play, bro. I actually can't do
Не му пречи, по принцип.
О, ти кой сезон беше, бе?
Why are you doing jumping jacks?
Chapter 2 сезон... Chapter 2. Chapter 5 сезон 1.
А, вярно, че бяха един до друг.
Тук са в Далас.
Майко, бахте троловете.
А който е отзаде?
Още двама имаше отзаде.
Bro, what? Mongraal just said my hairline's cooked as well. You can't talk, bro. You actually can't talk.
Да, да.
Тук е бил голям контент.
Замина.
Той е на Global тази година.
Upstairs neighbor activities.
Трябва да играем добре, бе, брача, играем
But
спокойно.
unfortunately, the two weren't good enough to make it to the global finals.
Ма,
and
какво
Mongraal
пили?
ended up playing
Скачаше,
trios
братле.
with a different team, making it to major.
Neighbor activities. Oh, we're in the game.
But unfortunately, the two weren't good enough to make it to the global finals.
Финалът
And
гледаме,
Mongraal
брат.
ended up playing trios
Нещо
with
не ме
a
поканиха на
different team,
такова.
making it to major 3 grand finals this year.
Поканят.
After not qualifying for LAN again,
Майко.
people thought that Mongraal might be done playing Fortnite. I mean, it would make sense if he wanted to be done and just live for himself outside of competitive Fortnite. Clearly, he's doing great because he bought himself a $1 million home at the age of 18 years old.
Оставаш да не си купи, братле.
I moved in here
Не
recently.
може да бъде.
Турнир за
When I
NFT.
was 18, so it's been nice being in my own space.
Струваше 1
I
милион.
want to show you
Да,
around.
да,
So
вярно.
in the living room first.
Мислите къщи
Той
имат
вярвам, че с
панели.
NFT-та се занимаваш,
Upload
той е
schedule on
вече.
YouTube and streaming pretty
Mhm.
often. I think
Виждал ли си на Бекъм
Mongraal will be
къща,
here
бе?
for at least some
Те
time to
казаха
come.
едно
Most
интервю
recently,
преди
one of
една-две
Mongraal's
седмици.
closest friends and duo partner,
Абе, тай
Mongraal,
пане.
Mongraal и Митрото са завръщали, и чай, и Севича са завръщали, казали са го в едно интервю.
Хай правим.
Какво бе?
Виждал ли си на Бекъм къща, брат?
Не.
Брат, че от ли си така къща няма?
basically saying that duo cups being back
ясно.
meant that we were gonna see
А,
the
да,
return
ето.
of our favorite
Ето,
duo of all time,
август 8 е
Mongraal and
пълнят
Mr.
за ти говори.
Savage. I, for one, am incredibly excited to see how far Mongraal and Savage can make it in duos, and I
Нищо няма
really hope
направят.
to see these guys at global
Да,
finals
нищо.
in 2020.
Какви дута са
If
завръщали?
you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and
Я
watch
спомням.
another one of my videos right here on your screen.
Кога е следващия FNCS?
Другия сезон.
Януари.
Октомври е другия сезон, края на октомври.
Ноември. 1 ноември за сезона.
Да, ноември, януари е FNCS.
Декември да са...
Демек ноември са финал, там, да са квалифайнеш.
Не, на декември. Ако има, а то няма да има, януари.
Да.
Демек другата година.
Да.
Е, с кой
Нали
ще
сега
играят
ще има-
долу?
Нали сега ще има главос?
С кой ще играят долу, брат?
Не знам.
Хайпара няма да е, той ще изтроля.
Ти се решаваш.
Брат, ще изтролиш.
Ще видим как ще стане работа. Дали още съм на аконта.
13 септември има дуо FNCS.
Как така?
Къде го видям?
Сега ще го видим. А, ето го е Dual Trial. Да, верно.
То това трейл май е... Не знам.
Топ 1К Advanced Next Room.
Да, той е qualifier.
Ето всичко вече на qualifier.
Да. Брат, то вече е невъзможно да вземеш earnings, ако не си прав, брат. Буквално е невъзможно.